Crypto King is not a financial advisor.
You gon' learn today, you gon' learn today, you gon' learn today. Had to get it off, why not be the boss? Started in Tampa Bay. Life in the matrix will crumble you. Poverty struggle will humble you. Florida State, relocate, pack my bags and I moved to Colombia. Hola mujeres bonitas, they say that it's cheaper to keep her. That's why I learn more than you. Crypto, I'm learning you. Learn crypto TV is turning to. Please don't waste my time. Learn, yeah. Please don't waste my time. Learn today. Crypto TV. Please don't waste my time. Learn Crypto TV. Please don't waste my time. Learn Crypto TV.
So, alright family, so here we have a little discussion going on for Learn Crypto TV family. I'm with a couple of the gentlemen that I met yesterday when we all saw the video footage that y'all see on the last episode here. I'm here with Gabe and also Donald. They'll introduce themselves here in a moment. Y'all already know who I am, but for the other audience, I'm Carlos. I'm from Tampa, Florida originally, and I live here in Colombia full time. Been here 3.5 years. My wife, a couple of adopted kids, you know, but my specialty here is teaching the foundations of crypto, how to get into crypto, how to invest in the crypto, what to invest in the crypto, you know, any other low-level question that you may have as a beginner, I can answer that for you. So that's basically what I do. Learn Crypto TV family. We'll get into, you know, this different strategies because all of us come with different set of skills. And I believe that this one here will be necessary. So this is a bit of a different type of interview that y'all would normally see on my channel, but because of what's getting ready to occur, you know, meaning with the upcoming bull cycle for the crypto space, you know, I think that it's imperative that you hear more than just my perspective and you hearing it from different generations. Okay, so, you know, we about maybe, I guess, 15 years apart in age from each other, you know, in the age range 30s, 40s, and 50s. So, you know, you have, like I said, a lot of experience here in different areas and sectors of life. So that's pretty much what it is. And, you know, now pass the buck to the next.
Man, Carlos, appreciate it. I met these good brothers out here in Cartagena, Colombia yesterday. We're here at the 𝐓𝐇𝐈𝐒, beautiful building. Out enjoying the summer with the family. We always, anytime that I travel, I'm looking at real estate. So we're in the 𝐵𝐷𝐾 area of Cartagena for the various audience. Beautiful building. And, you know, like the reason I'm kind of referencing the building is because, you know, just energy, environments. I'm big on, you know, just really just organic and the universe moving together. So we, you know, felt positive vibes and positive energy from the good brother Carlos and Gabe yesterday. My name is Donald Wong, founder of DWJ Holding. We're a professional services holding company based and headquartered out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Our holding company has 4 subsidiaries. We work in interconnected industries of insurance, investments, real estate, and business management. So interconnected. Real estate brand is 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒 Realty Group. Our insurance brand is Cosmopolitan Insurance Group. Our wealth management brand, one of the first Black-owned wealth management firms in the state of Nevada. We started January 1st, 2023. DNA Financial, that's my baby right now, so really proud about that. And then our management arm is DWJ Agency that kind of pulls everything together. We're big on entrepreneurship and homeownership, generational wealth, and spreading awareness on financial literacy and generational wealth.
Met this good brother just chopping up, heard him doing one of his YouTube skits, and I'm like, okay, let me chop up with him. And they connected. I was ear hustling to what they were talking about. Okay, let's see what we can do. But my background is full IT, just like the brother here. I got a channel I'll be starting up, getting into IT stuff. But just like the brother here, Carlos, I've been living here about 4.5 years. And we kind of connect on a lot of things, so we'll be going across the board. We can sit up here and talk about traveling and all this good stuff that we've been doing. We got footage out on the rooftop, I got footage traveling all across the world and stuff like that. I throw some stuff on my Instagram every now and then just so people can get a taste. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to just chop it up it's just more informal right now. And then as we break it down, we're gonna get more into the details of different things of what we can do. At the end of the day, the way I try to do it is share the knowledge. You know, if you share the knowledge, you share the wealth. You know, and my thing is, I prefer to show you by example of what I'm doing. I'm not going to tell anybody to do anything. But when I see other people doing stuff, I try to connect with them. And that's where we are right now. So
I've been here for some time. So I've been able to immerse myself into society, cultural wise, you know, understanding how the family dynamic works here, understanding how the actual economic system works here. So for me, seeing or experiencing as a semi-single man, because I lived in Bogota for 2 years alone, even though I was still taking care of my family here in Cartagena. And then moving here and being with my family, so I have both sides of the spectrum to understand how that works. Literally, to move here and live in Colombia, max amount, if you're budgetarian and you understand economics on a micro level and a macro level, you know that you only need $1,500. And that's single or married with a family. $1,500 max to be able to take care of what you was talking about, the minimum core expenses to be able to live every day, or month to month. So, with that being said, you move to a country like this, then now you could put yourself, like me, in a position to be able to take $200 or $300 over here and throw it in this, you know, because your risk tolerance now is like, okay, I can afford to lose this. Because you never want to invest in something and then you can't lose that money that you invested in. People take losses all the time. Like he was just telling you, you know what I'm saying? People put it in, the stock go down, and now they 50% gone. You know, whatever. So never invest money that you can't afford to lose. But if you live in a country like this, you know, your risk tolerance level goes up a little bit. You still have to be smart about what you're doing, but you have that opportunity here as opposed to where you are now. You know what I'm saying? So I'll say
average salary here about $300 a month. You're talking about people who they might make an adjustment. They might have like 3 or 4 income earners, each making somewhere, you can say 300. And that's probably on the upper mid-range. $900 a month if it's 3 of them making about $300 a month. Living wherever they live. Colombian rent, they might be paying somewhere around $200 a month, maybe a little bit more, maybe even $500. We'll say $500 a month. But put those numbers together, like with what he's talking about. Then you talk about groceries and stuff like that. People that did some YouTube videos or something, skits. They went and spent like $300 in a grocery store in the United States, and the basket was.
I see, man. Yeah.
Man, you spend $300 in a grocery store. That basket is full. That basket is full, and you're talking about you have all the proper meats, vegetables, everything here, $300. Now, it's oblivious for me to sit up here and say, okay, come and live in a country like Colombia and stuff like that. Okay, I'm not going to even put it like that. But let's just say that you build yourself up to a certain point, because not all of us are digital nomads. Not all of us can bounce and do what he and I are doing, right? But there are a lot who can. The point that we're trying to come at is, I call it F-off money, right? He gave me an example of somebody making about $100,000 a year in the United States. Yeah, you might be getting about 70, you know, with taxes. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Because you take insurance, taxes, all that other stuff that they take out the check if you work in W-2. And yeah, that's barely going to get you to survive in Atlanta. And Atlanta is one of the most economical major cities in the United States. And I can tell you right now, $1,500 a month for rent, probably, a 1-bedroom in Atlanta. Now, you can probably go to a part of Atlanta where it's farther out of the city. You might be able to get $700-800 a month, you know, on the south side or further east or something like that. Apartment, decent and everything else. But then if you commute into the city, then you have traffic and all that other stuff. The point I'm trying to make is that there's economical adjustments everybody can make. And you don't have to be a millionaire to start saying, okay, you know what, let me start putting this money off to the side here and there. He got some good examples that he can give. We won't get into that right now, but the point I'm trying to make is that he gave a good example in his situation where he was able to make the adjustment, come out here. And that probably won't work for everybody. The point, the angle I'm trying to come at is we all are accustomed to something. We all are accustomed to spending a certain amount. We're all accustomed to entertaining, spending a certain amount of entertainment. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what you risk. He gave an example of people got $1 million, they invested 700, and then they left with that 300 after the market crash or whatever the case may be. I would have said do it the other way around. You know, put 300, and that's that 300 keep the 7, something like that. And what's happening now is that everybody is looking at these 1% cases where somebody done took their whole life savings, $500,400. They took equity out their house, or whatever they did, and they put that all into some kind of cryptocurrency or some kind of stock market, some AI thing that was supposed to take off, and it flopped. And then they're ready to kill themselves. But at the same time, they were still enjoying that money, because anybody who came across that kind of money, they were blowing money on something else. So my thing is, take the money that you would have blown off, you know, delayed gratification, take that money that you would have blown off, put that aside, invest that into something that he's talking about, or even what he's talking about. Now, of course, he's dealing with ballers, right? So, but
we deal with small business.
and
primary
but when you talk about a collective, right?
Yeah.
People putting it, that's where you have your mutual funds and stuff like that. People come together.
They have high networks.
Yeah. And something like that. The thing that we come together is a different mindset. I like what he's talking about, because a lot of what he's doing is what I have done. And all we're doing right now is just sharing our knowledge, getting to know each other, sharing what we're talking about as we get to know each other when we start getting into the details of the...
Exactly. So family, basically what he's telling you is that you're going to see more of us. You know, it's not all the time where I get an opportunity to meet like-minded brothers on the same path, right? You know, especially in different age brackets or age groups. So, you know, I always take the opportunity to try to, you know, expound upon that, because we all can learn from each other. You know, like I know I without a doubt I know I can learn from Gabe, because we work in the same industry, but he's on a higher level in the industry than I am. You know, I know without a doubt that I can learn from Don. Y'all know my story. You know, I came from the household where my mom used my name to open up credit.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? There was no financial literacy in my house. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I'm talking with you guys about right now, I had to learn it on my own. Just going and digging my own research and finding out. That's why it baffles me that I got a whole crypto ebook out there for free and don't nobody really want it. But that let me know the mind frame of the people we talking to and we dealing with, you know. And I want to break that mold, and I'm just trying to do my little part to do that. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that what we have here is something that not just us three can benefit from each other, but sharing it with the particular audiences that we sitting down in front of. You guys can take in the information that you're hearing, and you can apply that to your own personal situation. I'll make this last point. I'll pass it over to Donald here, but what he was telling you about my example, I'm a Cheech and Chong guy. You know what I'm saying? I do that. You know, I'm not shamed about it. I just do it in a respectful way. I don't be around nobody who don't want to be around it, or I'm always alone. But either way, you know, I had to cut that down moving here to Colombia because I didn't want to put myself in a position to where I can't invest how I want to invest. And I know that what he was saying, your F off money, you know what I'm saying? That is F off money for me. Do I have to have it? No, I don't need it. You know, hell, I've been without it for 35 days now. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to have it, you know? So in those 35 days, the money that I would have spent on that can go clear to some investment. So for an example, in talking, get ready to pass it over to Donald, I have investments here in Colombia in real estate. My wife don't have to work. Okay, I got 2 adopted teenage kids that go to private school. All this is off of one income in the house, me, you know. How did I do that? Well, first I had to make sure that I made enough money to be able to cover those expenses, number one. And then number 2, make sure that my family and my wife knows we on a budget with some things. We don't go out and just throw away money like that. And number 3, make sure that she also understands that I'm setting us up so we can kick our feet up 5 years from now, actually a little less than that, to be honest with you. 3 to 5 years from now, we can literally move and do whatever we want to do and how we want to do it, you know, based off of the decisions that I've made, 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄, to be able to pay me passively, you know, and I can let the money have the feet and the legs and that do all the work as opposed to me doing it. I can just be the person that dictates and direct. You understand what I'm saying?
You know, like these gentlemen have been able to enlighten themselves to a place to where they've learned and got stronger with every building block, right, to get to this point, and they're still learning. They're gonna be learning into their 80s and 90s, right? But you know, like what I really understand is it's really not sweet out here, right? You know, like we had a conversation today with a business owner, right? You know, like has exceptional food in Las Vegas, right? You know, like she's been in an area, you know, like where she's been building her business for several years. The AC is out, you know, it's a $14,000 repair bill. The AC going out has led to her hood to stop working. You know, she's lost $4,000 to $5,000 worth of food spoilage, right? That's just today. We had another conversation with a good friend of mine, right? You know, who is in a situation where he's living with family. He's living with family. You know, he's trying to get, you know, like a place for him. He's trying to get a place for him and his family, and doesn't meet the general lease requirements, right? To be able to get into a lease, right? And so what I'm saying is these gentlemen have talked about problems and solution in today's day and age, right? With the internet, with ChatGPT, we have to do the basics, right? Of being able to seek the information, being able to put together a plan, right? The lady, I'm not saying the lady didn't have a plan who is, you know, experiencing business difficulties, right? You know, like disruptions are gonna happen, right? When we're under these conditions, we have to kind of figure out the basic elements, right? You know, like I'm sure Carlos experienced roadblocks, right? You know, like trying to figure out how to get to Colombia or what city to be in Colombia or how to get his blended family together. What separated Carlos from a lot of the challenges that we all experience is we got to figure out how to get to the basic essential elements. I just want to add that in there. So, yeah.
Perfect. All right, family. So right here on Learn Crypto TV, we just gonna switch it up a little bit, you know, and I'm just gonna focus on these two gentlemen and their experiences, you know, and how they were able to get to where they are, you know, and basically what they're gonna offer up, what you can do to be able to live somewhat of a similar life. You heard Gabe tell you earlier that everybody's not going to be able to do this digital nomad thing because some people just can't work abroad. But we also have individuals like Donald here, you know what I mean, who can be outside of the country for whatever amount of time he chooses because of the type of work that he does or the lifestyle that he lives, you know. So first question, you know, how did you end up where you are? What type of decisions did you make to put yourself in a position to be able to do what you're doing today?
You know what? It's a series of building blocks. 2007, one of my last courses at the University of Maryland. Literally, you know, like the summer after graduation, I had to take a few more classes to get that paperwork. And you know, like the teacher asked all of us, right? You know, like what inspires you, what motivates you, right? And the fact that this was one of the last questions, right? You know, like I'm being on the university, like I said earlier, and I understood it was an institution that was kind of pushing me in a direction on what you were going to do afterwards, right? So if it's impact, right, and you know, like passion, they may push me into a teaching field, right? You know, like mine was freedom and independence. It you know, like it was there, right? And so I really kind of looked at two options. One, going to work on Wall Street in New York, right? Being from Vegas, right? You know, going to high school there, 1999 to 2003, and going to college in Maryland, 2003 to 2007. Vegas was very popping. It's always been popping. At that point, that's when the city center was getting built. We had, you know, like probably built 8 to 10 condos within the 3 to 5 year period. And we had been exploding really, you know, like since before the 90s, right? And so with that being said, freedom and independence, my juncture in was starting an insurance agency, right? You know, like I was sold on uncapped income potential, freedom and independence to be able to build a business the way that I wanted to build it, right? And so with that being said, I started doing insurance policies for friends and family, doing insurance policies for friends and family. And in the insurance game, you build a book of business, right? So as a captive agent, that's an insurance agent that deals with one insurance company, right? So if you work for just farmers, you're captive. You know, like you'll make anywhere between 8 to 10% of the premium that you bring in, right? So if I pay $100 a month for car insurance, right, that's $1,200 a year, right? If I have 100 of those policies, I have $120,000 in premium, and I take home, you know, 10, 11%, right? And so that's where we started, was building a book of business, right? And so of course those goals are to be able to get a book of business. You look at some of these big insurance carriers, they got billions of dollars in premium. So that established the first book of business with me really just working in the community, really, you know, like helping out friends and family solve problems. Everybody needs auto insurance. The next thing that happened, right, was at that point, a lot of people needed housing, affordable housing, access to housing, Section 8, the city, right? And so I looked at this thing very easily. I said, I get $500 for every person that needs a lease. I would pass paperwork and do about 5 to 6 leases per month. I wasn't even selling houses back then, right? And so I'm, you know, doing $60,000, $70,000 of insurance, right? And now, you know, we're doing $30,000, $40,000 in real estate commissions, right? 2013, I had a mentor tell me, Don, you might be on something, right? You know, like he said, don't keep your business all as one, right? He says, I want you to break that thing up into different compartments, because if you ever sell it, you can sell it for bits and pieces. And as you assemble that, you're going to get a lot more, right? And so being in the sales business, right, to where, you know, like I was pretty much, you know, like I am the agency. I'm the CEO, the producer, the servicer, the chief everything officer, right? We were able to just really build an insurance book that did 50 to 70, which grew. A real estate book that went to 40. By the time we went independent and we started our own brokerage, and we had the independence not to check into a broker to ask them how to structure our deals and share our money, we really haven't seen a year where we did less than 6 figures. And so now we're going into wealth management. The way that wealth management works, right, is you get a percentage, right, of what you manage, right? So our fee is right at about 1%. So we see $10,000 for every million that we bring in, right? So our goal, our short-term, midterm goal, get up to 10 million in management. So my plan was very simple. I wanted to do 150,000 with each line of business, right? I'm a big Buffett person, right? So following Buffett, I understood that, you know, like if I make 600,000, right, and I spend 300,000, right? If I'm saving $300,000 year over year, family offices, right? Angels, they work with small, intimate groups of people, right? You know, like to manage their billions of dollars. We understood that if we could get that structure working. So as a CEO, I'm always kind of sketching and configuring and moving just to get everything oiled and refined. And so fast forward here today, when, you know, like, I don't have a lot of vices. I'm not trying to, you know, put myself out there, but, you know, like at the end of the day, you know, when you don't, right, you can really go crazy, right? You know, you damn near need vices, right? And so with that being said, you know, like my passion has really just kind of latched on to travel, right? You know, so Passport, you know, has
a lot of stamps.
A lot of stamps, right?
But that's your vice, travel.
And that's the vice, travel. And you know, like as I moved around, you know, like Colombia is such a phenomenal, a beautiful city. I had a conversation with my grandma in Jamaica this morning, right? I'm working on getting my second passport. And you know, like, so through Ancestry, right? And so I said, Grandma, I need your birth certificate. Had a conversation, right? And she said, you traveling. So we start communicating, right? Colombia is so beautiful, right? You know, like we had to put this as the primary investment market ahead of my hometown of Jamaica, right? I said, Grandma, you know, like what I love about Jamaica is the people, the aura, and the vibe, right? You know, like in the natural beauty and just the culture of it, right? But, you know, like Colombia is in a whole different atmosphere. We did about a month in Costa Rica before we got here. Started in San Jose, day trip to 𝐂𝐿𝐒. From 𝐂𝐿𝐒, you know, like we went up to Tamarindo. From Tamarindo, we came to La Fortuna. From La Fortuna, we went to a beautiful island on the Caribbean side, Limomba. We were down in Puerto Viejo, right? And we enjoyed ourselves, right? You know, like I asked the wife, you know, like, what did you like better? Costa Rica, Cartagena. We push off to Medellin tomorrow, and Colombia is it. And I haven't made it to Cali. I haven't made it to Barranquilla, right?
Bogota,
I haven't experienced Bogota. I've been to Bogota, I haven't experienced it. And so with that, I'm turning my passion of wealth management, right, into, you know, like one of my short, midterm goals is to really build, you know, like a financial instrument to where we can kind of lay down, you know, like 100 properties, you know, between Mexico, Central America, South America, and the Caribbeans, where our, you know, like to where we set up everything, right, from the management, legal, to where, you know, like our audience back home, they can sign and drive and really turn up and get these experiences, right? So, you know, we started with the building blocks, and now we here, and I can't wait to get back and kind of continue this thing going. I can't wait to see the future.
All right. So, Gabe, same question to you. You know, I know you just a tad bit older than us, you know, in your gentleman status. So, how did you do what you did to get yourself in the position to live this lifestyle?
First of all, mine is grassroots. I'm talking about mowing lawns when I was 11, 12, just to buy my stepmother tell me I bought a little piece of chicken, and that's how grassroots I am. I was born in Tijuana, Mexico, grew up in San Diego, so I have that growing up in Mexico as a kid where we had outhouses. So coming to live in Colombia in this day and age, if I had to live in the barrios or Estrato 1, 2, I can do it, right? But like I said, grassroots, working. We had summer program in California. It's called the Reggie program, regional something, where teenagers can work, because, you know, there was a time where teenagers couldn't work. And that's how I started, and going to school. So he talked a lot about going to school. My brother here, Carlos, you know, he went to university also. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of being educated. But he touched on it. A lot of times the educational systems don't teach us what to learn outside. I'm doubly electrical engineering and computer science from San Diego State University. That just got me started, you know, because what I'm doing now and what I learned in school, I'm way beyond that. And what we talking about right now is what he segued into is branching out into a country that we historically looked at, a third world country, unstable economy, everything that they throw out there to put that fear in our head. Now, I might be a little different because I, you know, was raised in Mexico, grew up in Mexico and stuff like that, so my mindset is a little different. But what's happening now is that we're getting a generation of people, along with a lot of these so-called third world countries, as he just stated, are beautiful. Jamaica is beautiful. My ex-wife is Jamaican, and that's another country that after Colombia, I would tap in there because I have some roots there. But the point that he segued into is that when we look into investing into the United States, I can tell you my home city, San Diego, 500,000, that'll barely get you something. Barely, right? I'm talking about property-wise. Now you're talking about coming out here to Colombia, you're talking about brand new apartment complexes. They call them apartments here in the United States, we will call them condos because in the United States, if it's an apartment, that means you're renting to live there. If it's a condo, that means you bought it. But a condo is nothing more than an apartment that you buy. Out here they call them apartamentos, you buy them, it's like what we would call condos in the United States. 50,000, brand new apartment. My Colombiana bought two before I met her. She was already over 50% paid off on one, so I'm just pay off the rest. So we don't pay rent. We don't pay anybody's mortgage. We don't pay anybody's rent. So when we out splurging and the fruits of our labor, like Carlos was talking about, setting himself up. Okay, so if we travel to Dubai, we here in Cartagena, so of course we're paying for this Airbnb where we're staying here. We in Bali, we in Mali, we in the most exotic parts of the world, but we're not traveling and having to pay, worry about, we get home and then our mortgage is about to be foreclosed because, you know, we paying somebody else's mortgage or we paying rent to somebody or whatever, paying rent to pay somebody else's mortgage, right? So where he segued into a country like Colombia, and I'm gonna focus on Colombia because this is where I'm at, this is where I set up my roots. We can make those kind of adjustments. Now, I know everybody cannot make those kind of moves, but if you listen to what Carlos was saying, of course, it's on a different segment. You make those kind of adjustments before you get here. Start putting money aside and overcome that fear factor of like, okay, dang, I might buy something for like 50,000 and I lost it, whatever the case may be. And if we're talking about stuff that Donald was talking about, trying to chop it up, trying to put it coming together as groups, what I would call more of a mutual agreement or something like that, is probably more doable. Now, as I said before, I do all the kind of stuff I do, my risk alone, and let somebody else, if it failed, I say, you know what, this one didn't work. You know, but it was my money that was lost, not somebody else's. Something that works, you best believe I'm gonna let you know this worked. This thing that I'm telling you about, the 2 apartments that my Colombiana bought, that's working. Her mom is in one. Her mom and brother's in one. They don't have to pay rent to anybody else. Nice 3-bedroom, and we stay in another one in the same area. Pimped out, plushed out. I showed Carlos and stuff like that.
Definitely pimped and plushed out.
But I'm just gonna give you some examples. When people travel to Medellin, they want to go to
Poblado, Provenza, La Reyes.
blah, blah, blah. Here, you're going to have Boca Grande, El Centro, the walled city, Moros, that's what you're talking about. Where we are, this is Cielo Mar.
Yeah.
If we just walk here around here just to see some of the buildings that's going up, I think this one was selling like for 140 about 3 years ago when one of the developers was talking to me. Right now, of course, it's going to be a little bit more, but the point is, what's 140, 150 going to get you in the United States? Let's just say 200. What's that's going to get you in the United States? Right?
Nothing.
So, yeah, 200,000 is not something somebody can come out the pocket and do, but the other thing is financing is a little different here, you know, because of course if your income is from the United States, interest rates are higher here, but if you, like what Carlos alluded to, if you adjust yourself to how Colombians do it, in the United States we'll buy a car for what they can buy an apartment out here for, right? What a lot of will do, and a lot of Colombians who are living abroad in the United States or other countries, they're already investing, buying something for their future in their home country, and then of course you have people from Jamaica do it, so what they're doing is they're investing into their home country and saying, okay, you know what, I have something there, so that if I retire I can have it there, or if not, I Airbnb it. A place like this, I'm quite sure they're making like $2,400 a month easily. That's $2,400 a month. You know, if you have more than one, okay, that's, you know, 5,000. I'm not talking about average because they have their peak seasons and stuff like that where they charge way more and stuff like that. But the point I'm trying to make is, I'm talking about micro investments. I'm not trying to, you know, and I'm talking from experience of knowing how we blow money in the United States. And I'm gonna take it to my family, where I'm telling them, like, dang, instead of paying $3,000 or whatever for an elaborated birthday party or this and that, if you were to put that money aside somewhere, okay, instead of spending like $3,000 on a birthday party or something, or a travel or something like that, break it down, spend like $500. You know, okay, yeah, it's a birthday, but then if you spend $500 and you put $2,000 aside into something, and you said, okay, you know what, I was gonna blow that money off anyway. If you lost it, you didn't kill yourself, right? Because you still taking care of your necessities. That's first line. He and I talked about that yesterday because, and we on the same boat, right? If he has to make a move, his daughter's already set up, is it volleyball or whatever kind of soccer, and whatever else, right? So family is first. Carlos touched on that. He adopted a family, and in the previous segment, he talked about making sure that his family is set. His family here in Colombia is set. Now that his family is set, now this money that he has is going into investment. If it's F-off money that he would have F'd off, like he said, when he was in Bogota, and then he was having the double life and stuff like that, so, hey, you know what, I don't need to have that double life. Let me focus on this, and this money that I was blowing off, now I'm taking that money and investing it. Now, at this point, I know I'm not talking BS, because a lot of us in the United States, we F off a lot of money. We F off money that people here in countries like Colombia will look at us and be like, that's why when we come here, a lot of them think they can take advantage of us because they look at us as just, you know, blowing off money. We'll blow off in a day somebody's salary here for a month with a family of 3 living in a house together. So what all I'm trying to say is that if you make some slight adjustments in your life, he gave an example of somebody making $100,000. Let's say somebody's making like $40,000 a year in the United States. What they might get back like what, 30? They might be left with 30 after taxes or whatever and stuff like that. 25. And more than likely, you're not going to survive off $30,000 a year. So more than likely, you are living with somebody. Somebody has Section 8, so then you're staying with that person, so you're paying less rent. You're doing something in the United States to survive. You have to, unless you are making 6 figures and you're figuring out, and if you're making 6 figures and above, the government is taxing you, and you're still struggling to make it because now you don't get the government aid, the government safety nets that people with lesser incomes get. So you gotta make it. You gotta figure out how to make it.
Or you're a trust fund baby.
Or you're a trust fund baby, right? But what all I'm trying to say is that putting our minds together, I mean, he's way far beyond me on wealth management stuff. I know about Warren Buffett. I know about everything he's talking about, but I'm an IT guy, right? So I can sit and chop it up and tell you about all this IT stuff because that's where I put my knowledge, that's where I focus my attention, because that's what's bringing me that good income in and allowing me to travel and be a digital nomad. But the point I'm trying to make is that I started off grassroots. I started off slanging. I started off doing what I had to do to get to, just to get it. It just so happened that I survived, because from where I came from, we weren't expecting to make it past 20. We were expected to already be dead or in jail by the time we were 20. So now I look at it as like, I'm, darn near three times 20 years, right?
3 scores.
So now I'm gravy. Since I'm living past 20, everything that I'm living now is gravy, because I was expecting to die sooner. Not that that's a bar to look at, but the point I'm trying to make is that I'm not a trust fund baby. I didn't come from money. I came from knowing what it's like to struggle and stuff like that. So in a time like this, if I gotta give up hanging out, if I gotta give up entertainment, it's not gonna kill me. But if I can take $1,000 and put it into what Carlos is calling crypto or something like that, put it into 3 of them, and then I lose that, I'm saying, okay, well that's 3 racks, okay, but I was planning on spending that anyway. That's the angle I come from, right? But Donald comes from the angle of like, he's here. He's dealing with these high rollers and stuff like that, but he has a mindset because of the way he bootstrapped himself. He got that mindset on how can he break that down to somebody like me? Okay, if not somebody like me, okay, somebody who probably didn't get their education like me, because a lot of people are figuring out ways to make money, especially if you're in the United States, right? And all I'm saying is you start, diversifying yourself. People say diversifying like you put your income over here, you're investing your...
More than just that.
Diversifying is more than just taking your money and splitting it up across different funds. Diversifying means like what Carlos did. Diversifying is taking your mindset and switching it up a little to do something different that other people are telling you not to do. And there's still people to this day with our scare team and travel in Colombia. When I told them I was here in Colombia, they're like, oh, you better be careful, Pablo Escobar, cartel, this and that. And in reality, they're not going to mess with you if you're not messing with them. It's not like they're going to be coming up there and trying to hijack you and kidnap you and stuff like that. But the point I'm trying to make is that fear that's being put in our heads from the modernized countries like the United States, Canada, UK. England, and stuff like that, it's a fear, and that fear can keep you from making the kind of moves that can get you in a better position.
And I want to just add a little piece to it. I'm gonna keep it real brief.
Okay.
2 things: culture and economy. Right? On the let's break down the economy. Gabe gave you a real good illustration about like the economy of condos starting in the $40,000-$50,000 range. His wife having 2, and then being able to pay that off. And condos costing what cars cost. Condos in South America costing what cars cost in the U.S. But I want to really break that down on a fundamental level, right? I graduated in 2008, the Great Recession, right? 2010, property values hit the all-time low, right? In Vegas, right? 2010, you were able to do a 2,500 square foot house in an elite community for maybe about $130,000, $140,000, right? And so and it stayed like that, right? It incrementally went up a little bit from 2010 to 2014. We started to see it go a little bit higher. Now, as a professional, I was wrong, and I'll be the first to tell you I was wrong, because in 2012 I said that house used to be $140. I ain't paying $160. In 2014, I said it was $140 and $160. I know the true value of it. I ain't paying $180, right? In 2018, at $200, I said it was $140, it's $200. I'm not paying $200. The pandemic happened, right? And we were probably at about $230, $240 for that same house, maybe $270, right? And we said, I ain't buying a house in a pandemic, right? Like that's the worst thing to buy. Then inflation hit, and it went to $400. So $140 to $400. But the economy on all of this, right, is what I understood was I learned how to see value right? We stay on Las Vegas Boulevard. We've been on Las Vegas Boulevard for the last 20 years. We stayed in all the nicest condos on Las Vegas Boulevard. A condo on Las Vegas Boulevard is going to cost you $400,000 to $500,000 starting out, right? I came to Cartagena and don't see the value of $500,000 for a condo on Las Vegas Boulevard because I'm seeing into the future, right, of 20 years up and down this 90 from Cartagena to Barranquilla. I'm seeing that was Vegas, right? If we go back to when Mike Tyson was running Vegas in the 90s, right? Spanish Trip, that same house in 2010 that came down probably wasn't 140, it was 97, right? So when we come to you and we say this condo right now is 170,000 in Cielo Mar, right? You know, like, I'm gonna try my best not to get defeated, right? So if I have $500,000-$600,000 to invest in real estate and I don't feel like it's gonna go as far in the US, this is your market, right? To where you can come get condos for $50,000, $100,000, $150,000. And we'll get with these guys to see how we can fill them up, cash flow, right? To where if you're making now in cash flow $4,000 a month, that $3,500 payment don't seem as bad back in the States, and we'll back into the States. But with all of this uncertainty in the market, right? You know, like, markets move in cycles, right? And our real estate valuation, you know, like, based off that, you know, we've never seen it at a higher point, right? And so it can continue to go, right? But things move in cycles. I mean, they start here, they expand, they come here, they contract, they come here, right? So that's on the economic side. On the cultural side, going to Caribbean in a couple of weeks in Toronto, right? So all of my Caribbeans, right? Coming out here to Central America and South America, one of the things that was so crazy to me, right? Got to Costa Rica and getting to Puerto Viejo and seeing a whole town. It's a town to where they had basically bought slaves to build up the railroad, and those people never left. Getting to Cartagena, I'm asking my guys, what should I do? They say, man, there's this 4 Mile island in the Caribbean, it's called San Andreas. Go.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Okay, family, so the brothers right here, they gave you a plethora of knowledge of stuff that you can go and break down. If you need to go back and re-listen to this, I would suggest that you re-listen to it, because they gave you a lot of points of reference that you can use in order to be able to set yourself up to be able to live the life that you want to live. But we just gonna flip it right here before we end the program, because on Learn Crypto TV, we got to talk about crypto. Y'all know that. So what I wanna ask my brothers here, you know what I'm saying, my newfound brothers, business, you know, what, if any, cryptos are you invested in or have you invested in, you know, and what made you get into this investment wheel to begin with in the first place?
You know what, so I'm a big fan of the underlying technology, the blockchain technology, right? So technology is a big part of our business, right? And so, you know, like, we coming into your IT world, we're not gonna go back to the tablets, we're not gonna go back to Internet of Things, we're not, you know, like, we're not over here on Web 3.0, right? We just here on technology. We're not gonna go to quantum computing and none of that, right? You know, so this blockchain technology is a fool. You know, like, with all of the geopolitical events that we have right now, cryptocurrency is something that it holds a severe utility in our financial ecosystem. So with that being said, I think, like a lot of other people, right? Like, I wish I got to the dance in 2013 and 2015, sitting around in COVID, you know, like, with the government handing out money and people sitting in the house with nothing to do, right? You know, like, I think cryptocurrency became relevant, right? And, you know, like, I think Carlos was talking about the 4-year bull cycles, right? You know, like, and, you know, so I jump in, and, you know, like, again, these cycles, we call the bottom of trough. A cycle expands, and we get to a peak, and then it contracts, and so as you get through that full market cycle, and so us jumping in 2022, like I think we got in on the way up before it came down, and Carlos is talking about that cycle as it goes all the way back to the bull. So so at the end of the day, I would advise on looking at cryptocurrencies by market share. So Bitcoin being the biggest, and Ethereum being the biggest, and Cardano being the biggest. Like look at the biggest projects. We call that your blue chips, right? So that's like owning Apple. That's like owning
Microsoft.
Walmart, Microsoft, Exxon, right? So I would say if like one of the safer strategies of bets, right? With crypto would be if I'm doing $100 a month, right? Or I also like the front load, right? Because if I put $100 a month in, right? And I get $1,200 and I get 10% on that, right? That 10% is $120, right? But the way that it's gonna be broken down, because I put $100 a month, I'm not gonna get that full $120. I may get somewhere in the middle, about $60, because it's the interest snowballs, right? But if I put $1,200 in, I get that full $120. So however you want to do it, I like dollar cost averaging a little bit into the market every month. So $100, I would split it between the 4 biggest projects by market share. And so if the 4th project moves to the 5th project, you can transfer that into the one that from the 5th project that moves to the 4th project, but you're always in the top projects. Me personally, I own Cardano, I own Matic, I own Ethereum, I own Bitcoin.
Sound like you're pretty much in the top 10.
Yeah, we in the top 10. And I know you guys have heard a lot of the theories from Carlos, right, about the industries and different things like that, but that's where I'm at.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, and Gabe, so same thing. What got you into crypto, and what are some of the projects you know, like, and love?
All right, so that's where you guys are gonna smack me in the face.
Oh my God.
He talked about it. So I'm IT, I'm technical. If the cryptocurrency is not using blockchain, it's not cryptocurrency, right? And to be honest with you, I'm gonna feed off of Carlos to spoon feed me back into crypto. I'm gonna follow his lead and what he talked about. Cause I'm the one, I'm a pessimist. And because I was technology, I knew too much about what they can do with it and stuff like that. You can go and Google blockchain to understand what it means. Basically, it's every transaction is tracked. And when it's tracked, it's encrypted, which means nobody can look at it. You need to have the keys, the passwords, or whatever to unlock it. I saw all the ups and downs. I was there in 2011, 2013 when Bitcoin was going through its fluctuations and stuff like that. A lot of people made money off Bitcoin, but to me, if I was going to get into something, it would be Bitcoin and Ethereum. All the rest, like that's new up and comers, that's where I'm going to be tapping in with Carlos to let me know what's going on there. I don't know if you want me to get into something else, but
this is your experience.
I look at it as if you're going to make an investment, Donald mentioned 10% several times. There are several ways you can get 10% off something. He said 100. Let's say you invest 1,000, you get 10% off of that. What's that? About 1,100.
Yeah.
Right. Over the course that you get that back. So I have algorithms based off. Okay, you take this, you keep flipping it, you're putting something back in. And what I was sharing with Carlos yesterday when we were at the pool. I'm talking about you have something that you're guaranteed to get 10%. And I'm saying guaranteed, but I'm saying on the upper hand of guaranteed because it can always take the loss. I'm talking about situations where I can put 10 racks into something, right? I get 10% off of that. Now it's what, 1,100? No, 11,000,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Taking that and every 3 months, analyzing the situation, analyzing the market, analyzing what I can do with that, and am I going to put it back into that same investment, crypto, whatever, or am I going to put it in something else? And that's how I look at it, because when you look at real estate, I'll take Dubai for example. You're talking about like a 7 to 8% on the higher end, and Dubai is probably one of the few countries, parts of the world where you can probably get an 8% return on investment. Now, what Donald was talking about, what happened in Vegas, he was talking about different eras of what happened. You had the real estate crash. You had a drop, and then you had the pandemic. People weren't buying during the pandemic because they're expecting that it was going to drop. And surprise to us, it increased, right? Same thing happened here in Colombia, but I'm not going to get into that just yet. What I'm talking about is in these countries, third world countries, that we are so scared to get into, their banks are paying somewhere in the range of 10%. Colombia is paying more than 10%, right? And I'm talking about countries that we are traveling to and we like, but we're so scared to invest into their banks, but they're paying high interest for the dollars, to get the dollar. And so you can do that math along with what Carlos can educate you about cryptocurrency, what Donald knows about cryptocurrency, and do the math. Figure out which one am I getting my 10% return, because that's what I base it off of. I know that there's high risk, high rewards. People can talking about 200% return or whatever, but those are the very special cases. A lot of times it's somebody who can blow off millions of dollars and they can see that ROI and they get it, they pull it out before everything crashes. What I'm talking about is looking at something that it doesn't matter if it's cryptocurrency, it doesn't matter if it's an investment fund, because in the United States you're not going to get more than 3% from any bank. And if you're getting more than that, then it's some kind of retirement Roth ROI or whatever, IRA, that you got to leave in there for 10 years or something like that. I'm talking about stuff that you can put in there 3 months, every quarter. You analyze the market, see where it's going, and see how you're going to invest.